Yes. All right. This is the meeting where we do our reorganization, so I'll take the first part. Just want to recognize Janice for completing year one of your of being on the board. So thank you. And welcome Stephanie Lehman as she comes on for year one. And Manny's reelection. So our first order of business is the election of the president. So as we move into that, I would call for nominations for board president. And just a reminder, we don't need any motions or seconds in electing officials.
I would make a request for ballots.
Written ballots? Okay. Yep. Yep.
For nominations and voting, or just?
Nominations and voting, or just for voting?
Well, the instructions said for nominating, and then once you did that, I think you used them for the election.
The both,
I'm not
yeah.
sure exactly how to phrase it.
Well, you want them to both, right?
So for both?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood what you were.
I kept reading this to see how that motion should be made and kept saying. for
Yeah, there's no motions.
No motions, yeah. Just do what we all agree on,
Yep.
yeah.
This is the nomination.
Yep.
So we're just writing the nomination. It was much easier than the paper. Yeah. And then Phil was off that one year.
Yeah, I guess you guys,
Because
my
the
first
sticky
year, you
stuff-
forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't, but yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I
Thanks.
forgot. Thank you, Katie.
All right, so Tish will read the nominations for president.
All right, we have Elizabeth Cook and Susan Manning.
I would, me?
You are Susan.
I did not do that, you guys. We're used to do ourselves. I would withdraw. Thank you very much. I appreciate that support.
Are there any other nominations? Otherwise, the nominations are closed.
Well, that makes it easy.
Yep, and because there's no need for a vote.
Okay.
Thank you.
So our 25-26 school board president will be Elizabeth Cook.
Maybe she said thank you.
I did it. Thank you.
I was impressed.
Thank you. Happy to do it again. All right. Thank you. All right, next up then is election of vice president. This is the time where we do a call for nomination, so use your paper to write your nominations down.
And then I'll stick together.
I know. Gotta be way less like work and paper though than like the color-coded paper ballots from that. And nominees were one color.
So Philip Haven and Rochelle have been nominated.
I will withdraw.
Philip is withdraw.
You're withdrawing?
Yeah.
No, makes it easy then.
All right. So that's the end of the nomination process since we have one nominee. Rochelle Miller is our new vice president. Congratulations. All right, next up we'll do the election for treasurer. So if you could select your treasurer.
You want to go do an overview of what these roles are maybe for,
Sure. Sorry, my pen stopped working. So in board docs, you'll be able to read the duties that are outlined there. Essentially, president is primarily responsible for organizing and running the meetings. The only person that can speak on behalf of the board. Vice president then kind of serves as like that second person to help and support in those ways. Treasurer, obviously responsible for overseeing the finances piece, and then is the default chair for the Finance and Operations Committee. And then after that, we'll have clerk. They're the folks that do things like the elections and oversee those elements. Most often, our clerk is in a supportive role, and Tish does the majority of that, which we're allowed to do by policy.
Also worth mentioning, the clerk cannot be someone who's in their last year.
Oh, yeah.
They can, but it creates.
It creates a problem.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah, so traditionally, the clerk is not someone who would be up for election this cycle.
Who would be up for election? Who-
So Rochelle and I are up for reelection this year.
Yep, and they canvass too. So then when the ballots come in, then you sit down and go through them all to make sure they're accurate. Not go through them all, just go through the numbers.
Yeah, make sure that they're all accurate and.
I got to learn a lot about our electoral process. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. All right, where were we? Treasurer. So we'll take nominees for treasurer. And my 10 step.
You get yours?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have one nominee, and that is Phil Haven.
Right. Well, nominations
Accept.
are closed.
Did you not vote, Phil?
Congratulations, Philip. And then you'll be the chair of the Finance and Operations Committee as well. All right, next up is election of clerk. I will take nominations for election of clerk at this time. You just got to scribble a little bit more.
Did yours do that too?
It did, so I had another pen.
Yeah,
Are they pretty new? I
yeah,
think
they
that's
just,
probably
they're
why.
just like kind of waxy. Just getting slow to warm up pens.
I gave it to you.
There's still tons of ink in there.
Has it got that little thing on the end?
No, 'cause it wrote before.
All right, we have two nominees. They are Janice Stone and Susan Manning.
Oh, I would withdraw, because I think it would be nice to, Janice does it.
Great. Susan withdraws?
I will learn about election. Fabulous.
Great. So with no other nominees, Janice, that makes you the clerk. Congratulations. All right. Well, congratulations, everybody. That concludes the officer positions. As always, the committee assignments, other than F&O, chairs are all open voluntary basis. So just email me and let me know if you want to either chair a committee or if you want to participate in a committee moving forward. And then we'll get those scheduled. And I know F&O and personnel are
So-
of the essence.
Just a quick comment, if people could be thinking throughout the meeting, if you have interest in being an F&O, after the meeting, I'd love to figure out a couple people to be on F&O. Just so we can get rolling on the meeting that we need to have shortly.
Stephanie, do you have any questions about the committees?
Not right now. Elizabeth had gone over them
Okay,
pretty in
perfect.
detail with me before.
So feel free to stop me anytime, Stephanie, and be like, Elizabeth, what are you talking about?
Well, and maybe, do you want to just, so I'm chair of policy.
But I explained all of this to her. Stephanie and I have met. Yeah, we've met previously, Susan. So I think we'll keep rolling on our agenda unless, obviously, if you have questions, stop us. But okay. So next up is the designation of depositories for school funds. So what I'm looking for is a motion to approve the resolution naming the following institutions as depositories for school funds for the Monona Grove School District: Lake Ridge Bank, PMA Financial Network Incorporated, and the statutorily authorized investment options to which they recommend, U.S. Bank and Wisconsin Investment Series Cooperative.
Can I ask a quick question? And I know that Kristen would generally be, more the person for this, but Tanya, do you know, are these the same banks as last year, or Lake Ridge is new, right?
Lake Ridge is
Yeah.
new. So that was, Summit is off and Lake Ridge is on. So we did switch all of our accounts over to Lake Ridge Bank.
Yeah, so Stephanie, just to kind of catch you up, my understanding is we're trying to consolidate. So there was quite a few scattered accounts across different banks. It made it very difficult for the team to reconcile, and
Understand.
part of cleaning things up is moving into one bank with fewer accounts. So
Our last loan that we needed to take in the fall was through Lake Ridge.
Okay.
I will move approval of the designation of depositories for school funds as presented.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I just have one question. Last year, we did have the Summit Credit Union, and we're not using that anymore? I'm just validating.
Yeah, so,
So we removed that because that was part of consolidating accounts. So we had less accounts and our accounts were in less different institutions.
makes it easier to reconcile. Yeah, great question. Any other further discussion? Great, roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Susan? Stephanie?
Aye.
Elizabeth, aye. Ayes have it, motion carries. Congratulations on your first vote, Stephanie. All right, next up, scheduling of regular board meetings, dates and locations. Let's have some discussion around this because those of you who remember, Stephanie, for just kind of some background and context, we had a pretty lengthy discussion last year about trying to have some meetings, ideally like half our meetings in Cottage Grove. We did have one meeting out there last year. The scheduling piece became tricky. And so we had the remainder, agreed as a board to have the remainder of them here and then re-bring that up as a sort of a concept to discuss at this reorg meeting, which is what we're doing right now. I think the challenge that we'll have, just to name, is that traditionally we've done board meetings on Wednesdays. My understanding is that the village can only accommodate us on Tuesdays. Is that right, Tanya?
Correct. So if we wanted to go every other, we would need to move our monthly meeting to Tuesdays. If we wanted to just stay on Wednesdays, we would have to stay in Monona.
Okay. So that's kind of the options that are on the table is, I mean, we could just, I guess, do any day here in theory, but
Wait, can you say that again?
So if we want to have our meetings go back and forth between Monona and Cottage Grove, we would move to Tuesday nights. That's the night that they could have us at Cottage Grove. And for consistency in the district of having it on like a standing date, so like the second Tuesday. Otherwise, if we wanted to stay with Wednesday nights, we would only be able to be here.
Tuesday would work fine for me, so.
yeah, Stephanie.
Where would the meetings be in Cottage Grove?
We had it at Village Hall.
At Village Hall? Okay. Is that the only place that can accommodate the technology?
Yes.
Okay.
And we did check about the town, right? They don't have that capacity, correct? Okay.
In the village space, it's a nice meeting space. It was a really lovely place.
It was very nice.
I know, Rochelle, sometimes your schedule can be up in the air a bit with,
According to the professor I teach with, she is going to take nights.
oh, wow, that would
we'll
be huge.
see. I mean, so this next semester, I've got my contract and I will be done at 4, so
Okay.
that won't be a problem. I won't know till probably close to the end of first semester till I get my contract then, because it's semesterly. But I think I could be flexible with
Okay,
this.
okay. We can always revisit the calendar too if we need to. Yeah, Susan.
Well, and I did look at the dates for the WSB meeting, and it's not that same Tuesday this year.
Oh, okay, good. Okay,
So doing it on a Tuesday, that Tuesday in January wouldn't be a conflict.
oh, good, good.
I do think Tuesday, being able to bring it to Cottage Grove is really meaningful. We don't get a lot of people, I don't think, in person at these meetings, but I think it offers the opportunity for potentially more people to have access to the meeting, so.
I agree.
I agree too. Janice, do Tuesdays work okay for you as far as you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I just want a set schedule so I can schedule the rest of
Same.
my life around
Yeah,
it,
as long
so
as we
it's all
pick it
good.
now and I can put it on the calendar,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
totally fine.
Eric, do you have any thoughts or concerns about Tuesday?
Do I have concerns about Tuesday? I'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll just check this
Um,
out.
and-
The ones on there, so you started in May?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
The
I
school
just
board
make it-
calendar is odd in that like it's such a weird, the annual cycle for it is so weird. So our term is actually like end of April or like beginning of May to end of April, which that's no one's calendar.
Yeah, it should work. I don't think I'll make the May one, but after that, I should be able to.
And I'll just comment, we were hoping that even regardless of what you ended up doing, that we could have the May meeting on Tuesday because we anticipate being able to get, push out teacher contracts that would give us the day of the 14th to do it because they have to
Oh,
have them
great.
on May 15th.
Yeah.
And we believe there will actually be their salaries on them this year.
Good. So then we'll be able to approve them on the 13th or discuss and have them ready to go. So it sounds like Tuesdays work for everybody. The way the schedule is that we're still going to retain one meeting a month. That seemed to work okay this last year. Didn't necessarily see a need for a second meeting a month unless we had to schedule it because of an emergency, but we have had 2 meetings a month before too. So what do y'all think about 1 meeting versus 2?
I think the one meeting with the ad hoc scheduling has felt like a good balance.
Great. All right. Great. So I would love a motion to approve the 1 meeting per month schedule. That would be Tuesdays, alternating between the district office and the Cottage Grove Village Hall. Did I say that right? For the 2025-2026 board meeting schedule as presented.
I make a motion to approve what you just said, unless you want me to say it again.
You just say so moved.
So moved.
Second.
Great. Any further discussion? All right. Roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Susan? Stephanie? Elizabeth, aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Something to be mindful of, Stephanie, the only strange one that'll be on the schedule is the annual meeting and budget hearing is always on a Monday in September. So that's the one that's in red in the middle there. And that one will be here at the district office. And that's statutory, and we can talk about that as it gets closer. Okay, next up on our agenda is the designation of legal counsel. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution naming the following firms as legal counsel for the Monona Grove School District? Boardman and Clark Law Offices, WASB Counsel, Quarles and Brady, DeWitt, Ross and Stevens SC, Godfrey and Kahn SC, Renning, Lewis and Lacey SC, Von Brezen and Roper SC, and Briello, Vetter, Bukima, Olson, and Vlett LLC.
Question. Are these the same ones as last year?
Yeah, so different law firms specialize in different things. And so that's why there's such a robust list of them.
I make a motion to, so moved.
Trying to make it easy for you.
Thank you.
Second.
Great. Any further discussion? Do we use Boardman and Clark most often, would you say?
Yes.
Who do we use for special education related things?
Running and Lacey.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? All right, roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Susan? Stephanie? Elizabeth, aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, the designation of the official newspaper. Can I get a motion to approve a resolution naming the Leader Independent as the official newspaper of the school district?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Susan? Stephanie? Elizabeth, aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right, designation of membership in professional organizations. Move approval, for a motion to move approval of the resolution naming the following organizations as the professional organizations with which the Monona Grove School District are members: the Wisconsin Association of School Boards and the Wisconsin Public Education Network and CISA 2.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I just wanted to clarify, is this different than what we've previously approved? Have we changed our membership at all?
No, last year we, for a short amount of time, didn't have an up-to-date membership for the Wisconsin Public Education Network. We grabbed that late, but no, otherwise they're the same.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Any other questions or discussion?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Tanya, how often do we work with CISA? What's their role with them, since they don't, in my experience, they don't do much with Dane County?
No, they don't. They have a lending library for special education resources for OTPT and speech and language. We use that quite a bit. And then they have educational consultants that we use. And then that's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
About it.
Just checking.
Yeah, pretty minimal interaction.
Driver's
Alan,
Driver's ed, yeah.
And we need to be members of them in order to access that service, right?
Yeah.
Stephanie, for context, in case you don't know, the state is broken up into various regions and then have cooperative education service agencies. The one that is for Dane County and some other areas is CISA number 2. So that's why it's that one versus 5 or 10. Okay. All right, so we've been moved and seconded, correct? Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Yeah, Janice. Yep. All right, roll call vote. Rochelle.
Aye.
Philip.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Janice.
Aye.
Susan. Stephanie. Elizabeth. Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, the designation of CISA 2 representative and alternative or an alternate. So every year we select somebody to be the representative at, there's, I think, 3 meetings a year, 2 meetings a year? Is it just the one?
Just
Oh.
one.
For CISA 2, a delegate of the CISA 2 boards will be there, and then you have a meeting. Did you do it last year?
I did it 2 years.
You want to describe it?
Yeah, you go to Whitewater, to the headquarters, and have some snacks. They usually have a guest speaker who will often try to inspire you. And I think the last time we had the assistant superintendent, but they weren't in person. But it was still nice to kind of touch base. And then you sit with other people in your section. So I think McFarland is with us. I can't remember the other one, Madison, and I don't remember the other one. Yeah, they've never shown up. So, but then the one thing to be aware of, which I didn't realize, is out of each of those groups, you have to have one person step up to then be on the actual board. And there's a 3-year commitment for that. And the representative from McFarland stepped up. And so then I don't think anybody needs to be nominated to be on that board.
Was
But
that last year?
yes,
Safe this year, okay.
for one more year. No, maybe it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. But it sounds like also they're starting to do their meetings online, because before they were expecting people to drive to Whitewater once a month to do these meetings, and now that's, so it gives more people the option to actually be more involved. Right, more information than probably anybody wanted.
No, it's perfect. Thank you, Rochelle.
So unless you want to do it, Rochelle, I'd be happy to do it this year.
I'd be happy to give you that opportunity.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion to move approval of Philip Haven serving as the CISA 2 representative, and we need an alternate.
Anybody over there?
That side of the table, want to be the alternate?
I didn't.
Said Janice Stein.
Oh, Rochelle, we put you as the alternate because you know what you're doing. You
Oh, I guess.
Okay, or maybe Stephanie wants to.
want to be the alternate, Stephanie? Stephanie Lehman as the alternate for the 2025-2026.
Okay, so moved, since you read it all already?
Yep.
Okay, so moved.
Great, any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Susan? Stephanie?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, designation of the Monona Grove Education Foundation representative, which historically has been Susan Manning. Susan, do you want to describe a little bit what the foundation is and does?
The foundation meets once a month, and they meet for maybe an hour and a half, usually on Zoom, like once in a blue moon in person. you are not a participant and you do not vote, you just watch and then you report out to the board.
Who would like to be our representative at the Monona Grove Education Foundation this year?
Susan, would you like to do it again?
I'm more than willing to do it again because I've just done it for a long time. But if somebody else is really interested, it would be nice. But again, it's basically just seeing what new scholarships they have, who the scholarships went to, where they're making their decisions and lines. And we have some, Lorene Gage is on the board now, and so there's, some of that connection that we have now that we didn't have before. But if somebody else is interested, then somebody else should do it for a while. But you do have to meet once a month, and you have to be there.
Worth mentioning that it's on the same Tuesday as our board meeting, so it would be a long.
On Tuesdays.
Yeah, it's from 4 to 5:30, just for anyone thinking about it. Yep.
And I attend those with whoever the representative, so Susan and I do it together now.
Anybody other than Susan interested? Otherwise, it's going to you again, Susan.
That's fine. I'd be happy to do it.
Great. Can I have a motion to approve Susan Manning serving as the Monona Grove Education Foundation representative for 2025-2026?
So moved.
Second.
Ooh, Philip got it.
Oh, I don't know. I might have to go back to the tape for that one.
Again,
Finish. Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Susan? Stephanie? Elizabeth? Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, the designation of the Wisconsin Association of School Board Delegate and Alternate. I think last year that was you.
I've done it the last 2 years.
Okay, you wanna
yeah,
describe
so I can
it, Philip?
speak to it a bit, and I would like to not do it this year. So the WASB convention is held in January. It's typically, I think, the second or third week of January. Runs usually from about Wednesday to Friday. There's some optional sessions on Tuesday, and I think it's usually on either the Wednesday or Thursday. They have a delegate assembly. Every participating school district sends their one delegate, so it's a room with 400 odd people, one per district, and you vote on the resolutions that have been brought forward that year by members of the assembly. And so there's usually 12 to 20 at the most resolutions. And what you're basically voting on is what do you want WASB to lobby for at the state level and push for from a policy perspective. It's interesting. You get a yellow paddle and you raise it and put it down for some of the votes. Otherwise, they have an electronic, everyone gets a little remote that you use to submit your vote, and they come in live on these big screens, and there's a lot of lawyers there up in the front of the room, and it's, I don't know, kind of feels like a weird version of the House of Representatives or something. But anyway, that's what it is. So, if you intend to go to the conference anyway, you'll be there anyway, and it's held at the conference. Takes about 2 hours, maybe, one in the afternoons.
But it's one day.
Yeah, it's one day. So either you attend the conference and you do it as part of your conference attendance, or you go over just for the delegate assembly.
And also, Janice, everyone on the board will get the resolutions and be able to view them ahead of time. And prior to that meeting, we'll have a discussion about them. And if anyone feels like if we have a strong point of view on one of them or whatever, so you're sort of representing the board as a whole there.
The 2 years that I did it, most of the resolutions, if not all of them, were pretty straightforward, I think. I don't remember having really much discussion about them. And this year I think they all passed, if I remember right.
Everyone except for the
Or maybe one.
the funding
Yeah,
for
one didn't,
charters,
but-
I think,
Yep.
was the one that didn't pass
Yep.
this year.
And Philip, they used to do something on Tuesdays.
So Tuesdays is like there's some pre-sessions for the conference. They do a couple of the deeper dives on finance, for example. I think it's kind of designed for newer board members. My first year I went to that Tuesday. I wished it had been earlier in my first year because it was near the end of my first year, but they have a lot of really good sort of you're new to this sessions where they go deep on how it all works. And yeah, that's typically Tuesday though. And then the real conference kind of kicks off Wednesday.
I'm willing to do that.
Great. Who would like to be the alternate?
Are you going to do it?
The alternate, that's fine.
Okay.
Great.
It's always the coldest week of
Oh yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's always so
Yeah.
cold.
The conference is in January, so.
The The only hard thing is it does take you out of the WSB meetings, and that's always one of the breakouts you want to watch. You know, it was like, I think they were holding that meeting when they were doing the one on the, not exactly shooting, but the event in Mount Horeb. And that was very interesting. So that's the only downside.
I move approval of Janice Stone serving as the Wisconsin Association of School Board delegates and Stephanie Lehman serving as an alternative for the 2025-2026 year.
Second.
Discussion? Great. A roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Stephanie? Elizabeth, aye. Ayes have it. Motion is carried. Last item on our agenda is the designation of the board legislative liaison.
Eric, I think you've had this the last couple years,
I'm
right?
banned from the Capitol for the next 2 years. So.
Do you want to describe it a little bit, Eric?
Well, when I did it,
Yeah, just like what do you do as the legislative liaison?
well, I did it differently than most people probably. I went down and set up meetings with our representatives, and I met with them at least like maybe once every 6 months. So I went down and went in the office and sat and just got the updates on any educational policies and stuff like that. And then, not with Evers. No, yeah, with Evers, I met with him once too. But this, because I know everybody down there, so I don't know. I'm sure you could set up a meeting with him, though. It's probably not that big of a deal, to be honest with you. You know, that's what it is. And then I guess, you know, I did go and speak and testify when they had, sometimes when they do the state budgets for education, you go in and usually you listen, but sometimes you can speak to them too, so. I mean, it's kind of defeating because everything's already done and you can't really do too much, but it's nice to see the process.
Yeah.
So Agard was our rep now. Now we have Melissa, right? So
Been doing coffee and periodically, so that would be an easy.
yeah, I did that too, but I found it more effective to go in the office and meet with them one-on-one.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit more candid on what's happening and give you an idea what the votes are and what the budget is and stuff, so.
And if you haven't done that before, and they don't do it, they usually do it in the spring, the WSB Day at the Capitol is great because you do go and meet. They break you all up and the groups go and meet with their legislators. And, I mean, it gives you a chance to meet them to talk about what you want to talk about. Generally, they're Democrats, so they already support the funding. The issue is the funding. I mean, one of the major issues. And then the other thing that's helpful is the YPEN piece gives you a great pathway to kind of who you want to track and see where things are going and how to fix that. But you know, it's interesting because I thought Eric had always been our liaison. And
after Susan.
Yeah, just after Susan Fox did it for a number of years, and Eric then,
yeah, she
after she
was.
left the board, I think you took it over, right, Eric?
Right, not just for a little bit.
Okay.
But the minutes actually said that, I think that it was Janice, designated board legislator, Janice Stone, serving as legislative liaison.
Oh, from last year.
I don't think any of us knew that,
Know what
right?
to do and didn't really do much with it. How's that?
That feels very feels very appropriate for the moment.
Not with this.
Anyone interested in being the legislative liaison?
At me.
But the nice thing is Eric has the connections, I mean.
Eric, you don't want to do it though, right?
Everybody has a connection. What do you mean? I just make a phone call.
Would you like to do it again, Eric?
I can't go down there. You think I'm kidding? I'm banned from the Capitol. 2 years.
I can do it this year.
I was going to say, yeah, or I could do it.
I'll do it this year.
Really? Okay.
It's gonna be an interesting legislative year, I think. You're gonna do it? I'll do it this year.
I move approval of Elizabeth Cook serving as a legislative liaison for 2025 and 2026.
Second, did you get that?
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Rochelle?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to add really quickly, I think that's really going to be helpful because Elizabeth has the Cottage Grove and the Monona piece. So if you have to meet with someone or see someone, you have good solid feet.
Yeah. Thanks, Susan. Any other discussion? All right, Rochelle?
Aye.
Philip?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Janice?
Aye.
Susan? Susan? Stephanie? Elizabeth? Abstain? Ayes have it. Motion carries. And that, my friends, is our first meeting of this new cycle. Congratulations, we did it.
I move we adjourn.
Well, right, but yes, now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Is that
second.
a world's record?
Voice vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 6:36 PM. Thank you, everyone. If you're interested in committees, please email me.
And if you're interested in F&O, let's talk right now.
Talk,
'cause-
well, I guess talk to us.
Yeah,
Aye.
I need 2 people, in case you're wondering.
I mean, I'll do,